Hello YouTube, you're watching the Porsche Network. In this video I'm going to be doing an ownership cost for my Porsche Cayman 987. Now you can assume this video is also good for the Boxster 987. I've done a similar type video on my Porsche 911 997 and I thought I'd do exactly the same on this Porsche Cayman 987. Oh, before we start, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you don't miss a single thing. You can also follow the Porsche Network on Instagram and on Facebook. Now, as I say, I've owned this car for just over a year now, and it's important for me to say that this is a video about how much I've personally paid for the car. So it doesn't necessarily mean what I've paid, you will pay the same. You know, there are lots of different varying cars out there, all with different histories and, you know, different levels of servicing and maintaining. It can be seen as kind of a guide on roughly how much you may well have to pay during a year's ownership of this car. So it's a 2006 Porsche Cayman 987S. It has a 3.4 litre engine with a 295 brake horsepower engine. It's bags of fun and it constantly puts a smile on my face while driving. So I'm going to split the video into different sections. We're going to be looking at, first of all, the cost of the car, then the repairs I've had to do, then the servicing and maintaining, then the insurance and tax, then modifications, then the fuel I've paid, and then we're going to be totaling everything up at the end. So first of all is the cost of the car. I paid £10,000 for this car. I bought this car knowing it did need a few things doing to it. So I did get it quite cheap for a Cayman S, although it does have quite high miles. It has 126,000 miles on it. But I don't owe any monthly payments on this car. I paid in cash outright. So with regards to repairs for the car, there have been a few. First of all, I had to buy a new starter motor for the car. Haven't yet fitted the starter motor to the car, but that's cost me £350. Next up is an AOS, or an air oil separator. That's cost me £100. Again, I'm in the same boat. I haven't yet fitted that to the car. I'm going to be saving a little bit of money on labour because I'm going to be doing these jobs myself, but you can give them to a garage. Then I had to replace the battery on this car. The battery that was in the car was not a very good brand and it was performing quite poorly, so a new battery cost me £80. And then finally on the repairs, I've had to replace 2 drop links which cost £90. So the total for the repairs in just over a year's ownership on this car comes in at £620. Next up is regular maintenance and servicing. Again, this is an area where you can possibly save a little bit of money by trying to do these jobs yourself. So the first thing on the list is something you can't do yourself. It's an MOT. That cost me £60. In the UK, every car over a certain age, I think it's about 4 years, needs to have a yearly test just to make sure it's in good roadworthy condition. Next up, I've done a DIY service on my car. It consists of the oil filter and air filter. Again, it's a DIY job, quite easy to do. I'll be posting my video of that DIY job on the channel very soon, but that cost me £90. Then for brake pads all around, that cost me £140. Next up is spark plugs and ignition coils. That cost me £244. Again, it's a job which I haven't got around to doing yet, but I will be doing it myself. I've heard it's a bit tricky, so I will be doing a DIY video on that actual job. The problem I've got with not getting around to these jobs is that it's really cold and it's less than favourable weather outside, and I don't have a garage with enough space to work in. This is what I have to deal with, unfortunately. So next up is the iCarSoft POR version 1.0. You don't have to buy it, but I think it's a good addition to anybody who owns a Porsche. It's good for resetting service lights, so if you're doing your own services, check engine, ABS, airbags, you name it. It's a general health check tool, and it's always good to carry in the boot of your car. So last but by no means least is the C-Tech charger. The C-Tech charger is basically a rebranded Porsche charger, and anybody who's owned one of these cars over a period of a few years will probably know that if you let the car sit for a good few weeks without driving it, then the batteries can die quite easily. This isn't the C-Tech one actually, but I have got the C-Tech one. Do yourself a favour because it can cause a lot of headaches and a lot of head scratching as to why your car won't start or why certain systems aren't firing up, certain systems aren't working when the car is fired up, and a lot of those issues is because of the battery when it's not charged up. So the total cost of regular servicing and maintenance and those few extra parts which I've added, £698. Next up is insurance and tax. Every car in the UK needs to have insurance and vehicle tax. The insurance last year for me was £500. With regards to the vehicle tax, that was £325. So in total for my tax and insurance on this car for 1 year, it cost me £825. Fuel cost, I've covered 1,500 miles or 1,500 miles. I'm going to say an average of 20 miles per gallon, and I'm using high octane fuel, so that generally comes in at like 136.9 pence per litre, and that would average out at about £463 for the fuel cost. Yes, I know 1,500 miles is not a lot of miles for 1 year, but I've also got to compete with my 911, my Cayenne, and it was previously my Mercedes. So they're certainly not garage queens, but I just can't drive them all at once. So now we're going to talk about the modifications I've done to the car, and I fully understand that these modifications are all on me. If you're not intending on doing any modifications on your 987, then by all means feel free to skip this bit. But if you do want to watch it, it may give you a good idea of the type of modifications that you can do. So I'm going to reel through these because obviously this is all personal to me. But I put H&R lowering springs on, and they got them fitted. I got a garage to fit those, and that cost me £560. Then we've got the Carnival rear exhaust, and that cost me £715. Then we're looking at the IPD Plenum GT3 throttle body. They cost me £696. Back to exhaust, this is another thing which I haven't got round to fitting yet. It's the Carnival headers or intake manifolds. They cost £733. I'll probably get a garage to fit those because I'm quite worried about snapping the bolts, which apparently are quite common. I also paid £200 for a set of front splitters, which unfortunately one of them actually flew off and then was trampled on by the wheels, so it's completely ruined. Well, that's £200 pretty much down the drain, unfortunately. And then the last modification was the LED spars. You can probably see them off right now. In fact, if I think they actually look pretty good actually, and they give a more modern look on the actual as an upgrade as opposed to the round spotlights, which don't look bad in fact, because they are right for the car. But I like the look of these. With regards to modifications, £3,119 I've spent. So let's look at the totals, including the car cost, including all of the modifications, servicing, repairs. It's cost me £15,725 for 1 year's ownership. If we take out the cost of the car, then it's looking a little bit better. It's £5,725. If we take away all of the modifications, then you're looking at a much better figure of £2,606, which spread over a monthly basis is £217. At £217 per month for a Porsche Cayman to drive, and that's including all of your fuel, your tax, your insurance, and factoring in some repairs as well. I think it's absolutely mind-blowing and fantastic that you can get a car for that amount of money per month. It's not going to be a perfect car, it's not going to be a new car, but if you can accept that and make your peace with that, then you'll really enjoy owning a car like this. Make sure your house is in order before you start going down the line. You know, if you're really sort of pushing it to try and maybe afford one of these cars, then I would maybe say revisit the situation in 6 months or a year's time, because the last thing you want to be doing is lumbered with a car like this and then find out you've got to have to pay money for repairs on it. So do your homework. You know, yeah, I'm sure you don't need me to sort of lecture you on that, but make sure you can afford it ultimately is what I'm saying, because there will be extra bills and there'll be extra things that you have to pay for that you probably haven't accounted for. But on the flip side of that, you know, you certainly don't need to be rich or wealthy to own a car like this. You can pick one of these up for the price of a Ford Fiesta or a Ford Focus, and you can have just as much fun in one of these as you can in a 911, you know, possibly even more fun, because it's 50-50 weight distribution near enough. It's a mid-engine car. You know, you can absolutely plant these cars into the corners. You can drive them to the track. You can drive them on the track, then drive home and do your shopping on the way home. It's a car which I can honestly recommend to anybody, but do your homework. Make sure you know what the common problems are, because they can get expensive if you don't know what you're looking for. And the chances are, if you're watching this video, then you've probably already got a 987 or you're looking to buy a 987 Cayman or Boxster. And I hope you found some value in this video. And if you have, I'd really appreciate it if you can smash that like button, because it really helps with the channel. It helps the channel to grow. And obviously don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you don't miss a single thing. You can also follow the Porsche Network on Instagram and on Facebook. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on the Porsche Network.